one we have If You Still Believe from The Legend of Dragoon. Main theme composed by Dennis Martin, I assume. Once again, everybody, this is a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I am a professionally trained musician / composer, and my goal here is to explain things, what is happening musically, in a way that you don't need to be a musician to understand what is happening musically. So if you like the sound of that, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. You like the video, share the video, join the Discord, all that good stuff. So, let's take a look. If You Still Believe, let's check it out. Okay, so we start with solo piano, very, very nice, playing what could be accompaniment, what could be the main motif. We're playing, there's definitely a motif in there. Motif, of course, being the smallest version of your musical idea, the seed of your musical idea from which everything else you can build upon. There can be more than one motif in a song, of course, in a piece. It's just a matter of that. But something else I noticed is that the time signatures aren't matching. Time signature, of course, we've discussed this a few times, the number of notes that need to take in a certain amount of time, each bar, each place. And it seems here that we are changing the number of notes, that the number of beats that each bar has over here. So that's why it sounded a little bit longer the second time around. No, you're not going insane. It was composed that way. Usually this is going to get layered up a little more, so they're gonna build a few more layers around this. Let's see where this goes. Vocals and guitar. So it turns out this was accompaniment. So when it comes to accompaniment, it is the backing instrument, it's the backing band that are doing the thing. So we now have piano, we have an acoustic guitar, and we have a vocalist. However, the piano still repeated that same motif, those same bars, and it made sense why some of it sounded a little bit more elongated or a little bit longer, because that melody from the vocalist was a very odd melody. The rhythm of that was very crashing, very clashing, very unstable rhythm, even though it's a very beautiful melody. So we're having a lot of messing around with rhythm over here. Let's continue. Very nice. 26p is when I had to watch videos 40p. There you go. We introduce the drums and we introduce a harmonized melody with the vocalist. Harmonization, a very beautiful thing that you can do. It's very cliche. One of the things that you have to make sure about music that to understand is that cliche is a very good thing in music. Of course, you can overdo what is cliche, but cliche works for a reason. And harmonization is when you take a melody in a certain scale, and you just have somebody else sing that same melody but from a different point in the scale. That is usually relative scales. Of course, I've done the comparison of relative between parallel scales. Parallel scales are, every scale, usually 7 notes, will have the same starting point. Parallel scales will have the same starting point with different notes in the middle, while relative scales will be the same set of notes but starting in different points. It's the opposite of what logically it would be, but that's just music, okay? Music has a lot of these terms that are kind of backwards, and in this case, relative and parallel scales are kind of backwards to what the logic would dictate. And in this case, we are doing relative scales with our vocals here. One, we have the same melody as before, and then the one at the top is harmonizing with a relative scale. I haven't realized that harmonization is typed with a Z, because it's typed with a Z in America, and it might be typed with an S in the UK. There are a lot of words that have that when you spell it with a Z is American, when you spell it with an S is British, and there's no right answer. Let's continue. Oh, the drums is doing a lot here. Okay, so what the drums is doing right now is very important. The drums with the hi-hat, with that very, very subtle pressing of the hi-hat pedal, is giving us the upbeats. Because there is no the downbeat is kind of hidden. The concept of upbeats versus downbeats is that you have a measure. You will have a measure. Usually there's 4 beats in a measure. In most of these measures, we have 4 beats. We have 4/4. That's what 4/4 is, right? We have 4 quarter notes. The top determines number. The lower determines what type. And beats 1 and 3 will usually be downbeats. Beats 2 and 4 will usually be upbeats. And the thing right now is that the downbeats in this piece are very hidden by everything else. So what is keeping us on a coherent time signature is the upbeats, which are being played by the drummer stepping on the pedal of the hi-hat. Everything else is kind of blending together. The guitar accompaniment is playing closer to what the vocals are doing. The vocals are doing their own weird thing that sounds absolutely beautiful. And the rest of the drums, just the hi-hat is keeping that. The rest of the drum is playing along all of that. So it kind of muddies everything. But we have these cymbals giving us a different timbre and keeping us on track. Very interesting way of doing this. Very proggy too. So yes, in the drums, so the drums are doing a lot of syncopation as well. Syncopation is when you play between the beats or against the beat. So a syncopated sound that we're hearing a lot right now is the kick drum. The kick drum, it's very faint. And part of it is playing on the downbeat, and then part of it is playing either right before or right after the upbeats. Right before or right after the cymbal, the hi-hat is playing, to give you another sense of not just motion forward, but instability within what is otherwise a fairly, in theory, is a very standard, stable measure. But now we have all of these elements that make it sound like it kind of isn't. Very creative use of 4/4 so far. Let's continue. Oh, we had a flute there, some sort of, not a flute, but some sort of woodwind. Sounds like one of those exotic Middle Eastern woodwinds. I don't know the names for those, but really cool. Really cool having just a little stinger over there. Stingers is when you have like little bursts of music that kind of come in and never show up again. So, very cool there. A short guitar solo. The guitar is going crazy. There are a lot of layers. But let me just listen if I can still hear the piano. I can't hear the piano anymore. I cannot hear the piano anymore. It seems that what the piano was doing has been mostly passed on to the guitar. So the initial piano line that we have is kind of gone. It seems like that was just an intro thing. It might come back later. Let's see. Guitar solo, very nice. We got a bass, finally. Now we have a change. It sounds like kind of like it's a chorus. So right now, structurally speaking, we had a short intro. We had a verse going on, which we could call section A. Now we're going for the chorus, which could be section B. Let's see where it goes from there. Very nice so far. Of course, this is just the name of the sections. Labeling them with letters just makes it everything simpler and I believe easier to explain. Let's continue. There are so many layers going on. There's so much counterpoint. By the way, counterpoint being the use of multiple independent melodies working together really well. And there are so many layers going on over here. I am surprised at how well the counterpoint is working. And yeah, we've kept that main... The vocalist has been doing a lot of harmonized. Stayed kind of like that the whole time. It's beautiful. Oh, that's beautiful. That's really nice. Oh, we introduced a third vocalist over here. We have the vocalist, the harmonization, and now we have another harmonization playing some counterpoint. So now we don't have the same lines. We have two sets of the same line, and now we have another one doing what I like to call a flying melody. We are having a very busy ensemble right now. The guitar is doing the thing, the drums is doing the thing, the bass is doing a thing, the drums going absolutely insane. We're having like these Middle Eastern sounding woodwinds playing the solo. We have a guitar solo. We have the first two vocals having these, everything in the middle, everything kind of in below. And now we have up above a fairly simple melody just flying above everything else. And that kind of contrast I absolutely love. It is, she's going up and down, like taking off, landing. Ooh. Strong modulation. We have violins as well. Now we introduce violins. Oh, this is beautiful. So it sounds like we have another verse. Oh, this is beautiful. Another modulation. Modulation, of course, being when you change what is called the key signature. A key signature is just the collection of chords that you have based on the musical scale that you're using at the moment. And modulation just means you're changing from one scale to another. And this is... There are many ways of doing modulation. Usually you're going to want to have some sort of cadential progression, like cadence, having a certain number of chords that take you from one to the other, or you can do what is being done right now, which is called direct modulation. You just swap. You just do it cold turkey right away. No smoothing it out, just doing it. Risky move. It's always a risky move, but it gives it a very interesting, gives it more of that exotic sound. It's beautiful. Nah, his vocals are really good. So we're also having something fairly unusual, which is a vocal solo. She's not really singing any lyrics. She's just singing a melody. That is fairly unusual for many songs. Fitting for this, because this track has been fairly unusual altogether, so... Very nice in that sense. Bass, and back to the chorus. Oh, beautiful. Where is this gonna go though? It's already so beautiful. Okay, and now we have introduced a proper flying melody, because first we had like that extra harmony. Now we're bringing in the violins, having that melody up above. I was thinking, like, how are they going to escalate this further? And they have. With that. You can see the sky above. There's so much going on here. So yeah, we're having them doing a revisiting of the chorus with variations. Very, very small, different. They're adding notes in between the scales. Like they're adding more notes to the scales that they're singing. Instead of just singing a straightforward note, they're adding what we call vocal runs, which is just when a singer sings a scale. Because, you can't expect a singer to sing a scale, especially fast, so we call that a vocal run. It's its own technique and everything. And we are having a lot. There's so much. And despite having so many things, there aren't many doublings going on at this point. A doubling being when you have more than one instrument playing the same thing. Like, the only doubling that we've had so far consistently has been the lead vocal with that harmony. And even then, it's not really a doubling, it's a harmony. Sometimes we bring in that woodwind, that does the doubling with part of the vocals, and that's about it. After that, every instrument is doing something different. It makes the track sound insanely busy, but it is beautiful. I'll be waiting for you. Can we repeat the chorus now? Another direct modulation with a complete change. We went from having the ensemble we had the entire time to now scaling it up with an orchestra. Direct modulation, new set of chords, new set of instruments. Just go for it. Bringing more variations on the motifs that we've already heard. Let's take it. And we're also having call and responses with this. Call and response being when you have one instrument or one singer do something and another one immediately responds with something else. It's a very beautiful way of making music. Very busy melodies too. And then you bring in these other slower melodies, lets you breathe, absorb. And more direct modulation, revisiting the chorus. Man, this is wild. This is a very risky, and they are very in the face about it. It's working beautifully. I would not recommend this. I would not recommend it. It's very risky to do this kind of constant direct modulation because it can make your track feel disheveled, but they're making it work. Those extra melodies too. Now we just repeat the chorus now with everything. Now again, we're doing this whole climax thing. We're just bringing everyone together. Everyone is doing something. And in this case, they're all doing something different. But we're just bringing the most notorious part of the song. In which case, usually you want to do like a chorus. Like either the chorus or the intro of the song. And you just revisit that kind of thing. Or the main riff of your song. And you revisit it with some of these variations. You add those extra bits. And just make it feel big. Phrasing. And the most impressive thing so far, the most impressive thing for me so far has been that the drum has still kept that hi-hat consistent this whole time. Somehow the drum, with everything that's been going on, the hi-hat has stayed consistent. It's insane. The amount of timing mastery that you need to have be a drummer is insane. Let's see how they finish it. Replacing the lyrics with la la las is a lost art form, but it's a beautiful one nonetheless. La la las, oohs, ahs, just to emphasize the melody that you're doing. It's such a lost thing, a thing that has been lost to time. Nowadays, we kind of forget about that. So it gives it this sense of retro vibe, but it's a beautiful thing to do, to just use las and ahs and oohs and that kind of thing, because now the focus is no longer on the lyrics, now it's on the melody. And I'm a very dedicated hi-hat operator. Yeah, that's called the drummer. That's the drummer. Like, that's something that impresses me about drummers. Like, they might have had a drummer and a percussionist separate. So you have the drummer handling some of the stuff, and then you had another percussionist handling the more complex lines. That is perfectly possible. But with a good drummer, yeah, you could have a drummer doing this the whole time. I can think of at least 5 drummers that I know that would be able to play this track by themselves. So yeah, it is possible. It's just difficult. Man, what a beautiful. And how are we gonna end it? Oh, I think the layers are being peeled back. I'm not entirely sure. Let's see. Nope, the violins are going even faster, even stronger. No, you're not gonna fade it out. No! No, dude, no. Oh no, they faded it out. The song has no ending. Oh, that's so disappointing. That is so disappointing. Finish your music, dude. I understand this is a Sony game, and usually with this kind of thing, fade out is my nightmare, is my nemesis. I am an advocate of finish your meal, finish your music. Beautiful fade, like the fade out. The fade out is not the beautiful thing. The song is beautiful. It's a beautiful chorus, and it's just absolutely beautiful. What I would have done, which I like to do instead of fading out, is you just do the goodbye, the farewell symphony. You just remove. You just keep repeating, but you remove a layer each time until you are left with either just the vocals or just the drums or just one of the elements or just a small ensemble, and then you just end the phrase, right? Drummer from Epica is a wild man. Yeah, like drummers are. It's insane how good you have to be a drummer. But yeah, that's what I would do. So you don't necessarily need to compose anything different. You just make it so that you have the sense of deconstruction. So you have all these, and you just have one less layer at a time until you're left with like 2 or 3 layers, and then la 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 la, and that's it. And that's it. You have the ending of the track. That's what, or you can just stop the song before it starts looping again, which is what these sound engines do. I see that as a legitimate way out for 8-bit and 16-bit music. Back when the soundtracks were made with very limited capabilities. We no longer have that. I consider it lazy. I consider it a lazy thing to do to not finish your music. Granted, I am in the privileged position that I don't have those kinds of deadlines. Composers usually have insanely difficult deadlines to meet, so I assume that, yes, you're not going to be able to do something like that, because on top of this, the composer probably had like 18 other tracks to take care of, right? So I understand, I don't like it. But either way, the song itself was absolutely beautiful. There you have it. That was If You Still Believe from The Legend of Dragoon main theme, composed by Dennis Martin. Absolutely beautiful. I am very happy with how it sounds. I'm just not fond of fade outs. So once again, everybody, this has been a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I am a trained musician / composer, and I hope that my explanation has allowed you to, even if you're not a musician, to understand what is happening here musically. If you like the video and you're watching this on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you leave a like and you share the video, all that good stuff. Join the Discord if you haven't already. That's where everything gets announced first, all that good stuff. And if you want to request a song and you're not watching this on the live stream, just leave a comment with what track from what game you want me to do. Game original soundtracks only, please, because of copyright. So yeah, there you go. That was If You Still Believe from The Legend of Dragoon. Very, very good stuff. I loved it. I loved it in spite of the fade out. But yeah, anyway, let's move on.